everyone, it's Jeb Hanwerder from GoldStockTrades.com. Update for my premium subscribers on the weekend of August 9th. We're heading into the second week of August. This is the summer doldrums, remember, investors. A lot of Canadian investors, a lot of investors that live up north that don't have good weather, they use the summertime to get away. And sometimes the shorts take advantage of that low volume and the lack of buying to short stocks and short the precious metals. And that's why you're seeing a lot of attacks on some of the stocks that we're following, even though the bullion prices are continuing higher. And the U.S. dollar is on the verge of possibly a major breakdown into new low territory. And gold and silver are making historic breakouts. So we should think that the junior miners should be catching up, but it doesn't always happen that way. These are illiquid stocks. There's a lot of investors, high net worth investors that are away now. Not everyone works day in, day out, like Gold Stock Trades and Eric Sprott and people that are watching the news every day and on their laptops, following all their drill results. A lot of guys are away in the country. And you also have to remember there was a storm in New York, and a lot of investors that I had reports that there was power outages, and they were not able to trade and post and to their subscribers. So this is summer months. This is when sometimes there are flash crashes. That's what we have to remember. We are in the summer season where there can be manipulated moves lower. But long term, we see right now, fundamentally, President Trump over the weekend announced emergency orders to extend unemployment benefits, eviction, protecting renters from eviction, and student loan interest rate deferrals as an emergency over Congress. Congress wanted a much bigger package. And he decided to go with an emergency package. The point being is that the federal deficit is continuing to soar. Tax base is not, GDP is at record lows. The tax base is not, the payroll taxes, the deficit is going to be continuing to soar. And that has a direct relationship to the U.S. dollar. One of my friends, Lawrence Lepard, Harvard MBA fund manager in gold, shared this chart and shows how close the dollar and the deficit and spending and deficit is connected. So the dollar looks extremely weak here right now, and precious metals are finally breaking out, with gold and silver breaking out into new multi-year highs. Gold's already broken the 2,000 mark, and some really smart investors like Mr. Sprott think that silver could go to $50 new highs and catch up to gold, not in 6 months or a year from now, but possibly in the near term, the next 8 to 12 weeks. So this is a time that, especially with silver, that we're seeing the gold-silver ratio come back down. So silver could be setting up for a massive move coming up in the next couple of months. So many people ask me, what's the exit strategy here? Gold hasn't really even broken out yet. When you take inflation and you take government spending and the deficit and the balance sheet of the Fed, right now we're not even past the 2011 highs when you adjust with inflation at 2150, let alone not even touching the 1979 high of 2,749 if you take inflation. And I think that's a good target for us right now. That is our near-term target. It's around there, 2,600 from the chart that we're looking at. From this breakout here at 2150, we could have a nice move up to 2750, and I don't think that's far off. That could be possibly 6 to 8 weeks away as well. So this is not a time to panic and with the shorts. and sell out your junior mining portfolio. It's a time to add to the positions. And it's a time to research really good deals and, where deals are just beginning to start drilling, just beginning to get re-rated. And for, investors who are new to the sector, you got to follow the financings and the money. Money follows money in the sector. Right now, the leading financier right now is Mr. Eric Sprott from Sprott Money. Personally, he is doing this from his personal net worth. He's a 75-plus-year-old man, and he's putting all of his money, a large portion of his money and his speculative portfolio into junior miners, and has single-handedly pretty much turned the sector around, getting people back to work. And a lot of people do not realize that the precious metals sector is broken out yet. And from the mining investment side, he is a little bit ahead of that, and is really finding some deals that we've highlighted, that have been somewhat neglected, but have large silver resources, and are drilling away and on the verge of making some big discoveries. So this chart really shows why precious metals is going higher since pretty much the beginning of end of 2018. The rates have gone to record low territory, record now negative rates on the 10-year Treasury, and that is really a boom for gold and for the junior miners that have the gold and silver in the ground. So record low interest rates, record low mortgage rates, and we're concerned what happens. We've had all this to try to boost the housing bubble, but what happens when we have all these evictions and foreclosures from this economic slowdown and this GDP and this unemployment? We're very concerned over what could happen in the second half of this year going into 2021. We even think that it could be bigger than 2008 and the housing bubble crash. So we have to be really careful and make sure you preserve your wealth and your capital right now with precious metals and with junior miners that have the precious metals and are exploring and developing those assets. And here's really where we're seeing a lot of uncertainty in the housing market. And that's why there's been a lot of real estate investors flocking to precious metals. Look here, some of the percentage of people who miss the July rent or mortgage and have little or no confidence that they can pay August. This is why Trump had to announce the eviction thing. There's almost 30%, 1 out of 3 renters right now, or mortgage 1 out of 3 properties are underwater right, or are struggling to pay bills right now, especially here in the Southeast and in Texas and Nevada, and even California. And New York is pretty bad as well. And I've heard from investors in Manhattan that they're struggling. The condition in New York City is pretty dismal now economically. So this is something that we must have on our radar in the next few months here. What's going to happen with this real estate and how this affects the banks, and what happens with these mortgage rates. Everyone's refinanced. What happens when these loans get underwater? And for years I've been telling you to stick to gold, stick to junior miners, stick to hard assets. And we'll look at this at the U.S. The gold in terms of Canadian dollars, 27.15 almost. Look at this chart, this long-term trend. This is what you want to stick to, real money in the form of gold. And this is 2,700 for this market. And TSX Venture is still at record lows. With this sort of market, at gold at 2,700, there's no reason why the TSX Venture and these junior miners should be this cheap. I think there's a long way to go here. Gold hasn't even really broken out yet. Inflation. And a lot of investors, there's only Eric Sprott really that's come into the junior miners, and a few other investors like Gold Stock Trades and others that are into the junior miners and the explorers, like Free Gold and Outcrop and Roscan and Aftermath and BlackRock, that have gone up tenfold plus. So it's important you stick to the trend here. Don't get shaken out. This could have a lot more room to go here in the junior miners. So let's take a look at this week in some of our silver stocks that have really exploded since I've been highlighting for the past couple of weeks, past month or two, about the coming silver breakout and the covering of the shorts in silver, of the record number of shorts in silver, and to get position in silver stocks and anything silver. And sometimes you don't even know that these stocks have silver, and that's why I highlighted a stock like Nubian a few weeks ago. I invested and I highlighted this on my featured list, Nubian Resources, and they were going after gold in the Fosterville area in Australia. But many investors didn't realize they had a huge silver asset right next to Chuquipaca mine, which is one of the largest Buenaventura gold mines that was originally from gold fields, gold and silver, right next to it. And it's an advanced silver asset, and they have historical drilling back from 2015. All it needed money and to get restarted. Well, look at this. We heard last week that Eric Sprott's put over $4 million into it. And look at this stock just breaking out, just beginning to break out. And Aftermath Silver, I got in before people realized what they were doing, and they were getting a great silver asset from a distressed company at the bottom of the silver market. And we got in, and I appreciate the chairman for getting me in as it was starting out. And now they're building a huge base of silver. Someone sent me they may have almost 200 million ounces of silver, advanced silver. So Aftermath Silver has really exploded. From the 10-cent low in March to now, it almost hit 80 cents plus. That's an 8-bagger. So really appreciative and grateful of Aftermath Silver and the hard work they've done. Ralph Rush and Michael Williams. BlackRock Gold, so grateful. They hit some great silver results in Nevada. The gold property, the results were mixed. And a lot of people said, oh, nothing's going to happen with these guys. But I said, no, watch the management. Watch the CEO, Andrew Pollard. Watch the chairman, Bill Howell. He's got experience in Nevada. He can find something good. They did a deal with Ellie Gold Royalties, and I listened to Ellie Gold Royalties, and I asked a question to the CEO, Trey, and I said, what do you think of the Tonopah? And he says, oh, it's exciting. And that's when investors really began. The silver in Nevada, BlackRock Gold, they hit. Got Eric Sprott involved, and the stock exploded from the 10-cent low to $1.50 at 15-bagger. And another deal that we're investing in, $8 million bought deal right now with Canaccord Metallic Minerals. They got a great land position, developed this huge land position surrounding Alexco in the Keno Hill, the highest grade silver area in North America in the Yukon. They got this all in the bear market at the bottom. And I've been a long-term investor in this, and now they're drilling, and these guys know how to find high-grade silver. They've done it before. They built Nova Gold. These are the guys that built and found Nova Gold in the last cycle. And they think they're on to the next big Alexco-like mine in the Keno Hill. And Outcrop, we all know, is hitting some great results in Colombia, high-grade silver. Stockland went from 10 cents to 80 cents, an 8-bagger. One that we just invested in has not gotten Eric Sprott's attention yet, but we got ours. Still hasn't really moved yet, but Viscount Mining's got a great silver property in Colorado. Look at their results from a couple of years ago. You might hear news that they're going to start drilling, and keep a close eye on Aztec. They're going to be drilling in the historic Tombstone District. Look at a company called Arizona Mining that was bought out by South 32 a couple of years ago for billions of dollars. And we're quite excited when they start drilling here. The chairman's Brad Cook. He runs Endeavor Silver, which is a major silver producer. And we're quite excited about the starting of silver drilling at the historic Tombstone, which we've seen the grades, historic grades are pretty impressive. So stay tuned to gold stock trades. I recently highlighted a new company called Blue Lagoon Resources. They control the Dome Mountain gold mine. This is the president, Ronavig, and with the chief geologist, Bill Kronk. They announced a PEA that showed this is fully permitted, ready to go. It needs a few upgrades for like a 1.5 million and get into production and cash flowing with a great rate of IRR, I think 250 plus. Plus, there's a lot of upside potential with gold and lots of, here you can see here, there's a lot of high grade gold and a lot of high grade silver. Look at these grades here. And look at the condition of that this mine is currently ready to go in. So I really suggest that you take a time before this financing closes or to keep an eye. Look at the condition here of the equipment and ready to go here. Plus, there's amazing upside potential here with drilling these veins. So there's a PEA on a production scenario, but there's also a lot of upside potential that has not yet been reflected. So I really suggest that you phone into this company and do some more research, as it's kind of not well known yet in the investment community. But we should hear news soon of the funding and going into production and drill results, and highlighting the silver. And remember, they already have a milling agreement. Here it shows they've test run all the material through the Nikola mill in 2016 and had a 95.2% gold recovery, which is significant. So check them out at Blue Lagoon Resources. I'd like to highlight another news story that came out last week that got ignored, continues to get ignored. Remember, this is an Eric Sprott story. He likes palladium as well. We've seen what's happened with the palladium price. It's even performed better than gold. And we think that with the stimulus and with all the money that's being printed, palladium has a long way to go. And this has 1 billion pounds of copper. Well, they just did some magnetotelluric anomaly for this sort of mineralization. And you can see here what is being lit up here. This means that this is the current latest drilling. This is the PEA pit outline. This has a lot more room to grow here, and this needs to be drilled more. Even though this is at feasibility stage, and this is a mine that was acquired by a major, Sibanye, Stillwater, and it has Eric Sprott and Lucas Lundin and a Cisco and all the top mining guys involved, there's still so much room to grow here. And there needs to be a lot more money to drill this because this thing could get massive. Remember, I do have a conflict of interest with these positions. I do have relationships, business relationships with these companies, and I do have shareholdings in these companies. So most of my portfolio is in these junior miners, and that's how I make a living. So I do want these junior miners to go up higher, to do well for my family and for my kids and my friends and for my subscribers. So stay tuned to Gold Stock Trades. Thank you so much for supporting our research here. We believe we're at the early stages of a major rally in the miners. It's not going to go up every day, especially in the summer months and especially when the Canadians are up in the cabin and when the guys up in northern U.S. are enjoying the little good weather that they have and the sunshine they have, and I totally understand that. Get your sunshine, get your rest, get your fishing in, get your exercise in. It's going to be a busy fall season, autumn season come after Labor Day. Stay tuned to goldstocktrades.com. Jeb Hamburger, August 9th, 2020. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.